resignation from your role, apologizing for my perception that you have failed. That is, that's classic neoliberal crisis management, and we can smell it a mile off, and it's not going to wash with this community. I think everyone is risking a lot. Everyone is risking a lot. Even those who have no skin in the game, as far as they can tell, is risking a lot if that's what people are going to accept in the next few weeks in Kensington, because on a basic level, that will not be acceptable. Because they're not full resignations. They are people standing aside from their designated roles, but they're still on the payroll. So we've got Robert Black still drawing his salary from KCTMO. We've got the same with Rock Fielding Mellon and Nick Paget-Brown. They've all stepped aside from their actual roles, but they're not full resignations. And at the moment, looks like a really dangerous moment. Like, that has been done to satisfy a certain set of questions, but in no ways answer those questions. It's what really needs to happen is those people need to be gone. It's a full cabinet set of decisions that have led us into the place where we've got Grenfell Tower and have failed it to lead us anywhere out of the place where we've had a fire at Grenfell Tower. So there has been just a lack of, there's just been a complete failure of statutory services in this area for the last 3 weeks. And that failure is not a sudden thing that's come out of a crisis, but it's the continuity of a series of kinds of decisions that led to the regeneration, that have designed neighbourhood master plans. And unless that process is interrupted, unless it is interrupted in a genuine way, like not Rock Fielding Mellon steps down from housing and then housing carry on as normal, but Rock Fielding Mellon steps down from housing and all of the decisions he's made are brought into question. We need review of the planning, of all planning decisions that he has been part of. We need the end of the neighbourhood plans that have got Grenfell Tower and turned it into a death trap. We need community co-designed response into that, and we really do need to act fast, because at the moment it looks a lot like the status quo has finally caught up, that something very huge has happened here, that it is exposing in ways that they could not even perceive themselves, and they are now taking the sorts of minor actions that they think are necessary to get the whole show back on the road. And the whole show back on the road is Rock Fielding Mellon still a councillor, but not responsible for housing. If we want the continuation of neoliberalism, or even if we want neoliberalism starting to learn something else, but the whole thing about those apologies, they are apologising for perception, and that's when neoliberalism works. It's like it's apologising for perception. So it has failed to disturb in any way that neoliberal order. And even though for the past 3 weeks we haven't had statutory services in this area, and what we've got in place of that is we've got community-led organisations becoming autonomous, organising themselves, putting into place the services and care that were lacking from the council, and they have the community's trust, and they have, they just have the skills to do it in a way that we were shocked to discover that the council didn't, but the council has chosen not to. So what has to happen for the community now is that autonomy is recognised, that it is that we move into structures that shore it up and value it, and that those organisations are what lead us out of this crisis moment, and that community co-design, negotiation, action is what is taken as the path out of here. If the path out of here is commissioners being parachuted in from outside of the area, I don't see how anything is going to change. Nothing fundamentally has changed for that reality in North Kensington. So I'm standing in a square, there's social housing all around me mixed with very expensive housing, and I'm willing to bet there's empty flats. Have they been opened up for the homeless? No, they haven't, because there's no intention to get rid of the order that has produced this crisis. And that's what we absolutely have to do at this point. And the only way to do that is to do it through community co-design, community working together, community, negotiating, and it's difficult. It's not like community is, all perfect and everyone's an angel. But the community are standing with each other, negotiating, talking, finding a way to do what must be done. And that has been the only beautiful moment, or the only thing out of this whole horrifying mess that anyone can point to with any kind of goodness in their heart. And that is what we absolutely have to treasure and keep and move forward with.